Toyota has a long history with the small SUV market, longer in fact than Nissan's Qashqai. Some would argue that Toyota was first to the market with its Toyota RAV4, which is now a much larger, heftier family SUV. So it needed something to replace that, to rival cars such as the Nissan Qashqai, Seat Ateca and Peugeot 3008. Step in then, the CHR. It's sleek to look at, there's a hybrid version that will keep your tax bills low, and even the most basic versions come with plenty of equipment. On paper then, the CHR should give the Ateca a run for its money. So let's see how it stacks up on the road. Refreshingly, for a small SUV, there are only two engines to choose from. First up is this 1.2 litre petrol, which has just enough power and doesn't scream too much when you push it hard. It's a shame though that the fuel economy and CO2 emissions aren't a little bit more impressive. Then there's the 1.8 litre petrol hybrid, which is in fact the same setup as you get in a Toyota Prius. It's noisier than the 1.2, however it will be the favourite amongst company car drivers thanks to its low CO2 emissions. Those doing high mileages will be disappointed that there's no diesel. Ride comfort and handling also depends on which engine you choose. Go for the 1.2 petrol and the CHR is relatively smooth and rides better on broken tarmac than either the Ateca or the Peugeot 3008. It's also surprisingly agile by small SUV standards and delivers enough feedback through the steering wheel to give you confidence. Go for the hybrid though, and things start to get a little unsettled on patchy road surfaces. It feels heavier and less agile on twisty roads. Even compared with other small SUVs, you do sit rather low in the CHR, which makes it quite difficult to see out of when compared with, say, a Nissan Qashqai, especially the rear because of that funky styling, although all models do get a reversing camera as standard, and higher end versions get front and rear parking sensors, plus a system that even parks itself. There's plenty of adjustment in the seat and steering wheel, so you can find a comfortable driving position, although basic versions don't get lumbar support. All the dashboard controls are logically laid out and they are also within easy reach, although we would prefer to adjust the temperature with dials instead of buttons. This 7-inch touchscreen has all the functions you would expect, including DAB radio and Bluetooth. And if you go for XL or Dynamic, that also includes SatNav. It's also connected to the internet, which is a very clever function because it enables you to get live traffic updates for your route. Using it though is another story. It is very clunky and you'd be better off with the more simple system in Seat's Ateca. Now let's see how easy it is to pair my mobile phone and set a destination in the SatNav. Connectivity. Bluetooth connection. Search device. Yes. Wow, that was quick. Now I'm going to set a destination in the SatNav. That looks like the SatNav symbol to me. Confirm. Enter address. And let's put in the full postcode. Let's make one up. BH31 space 6GG. Calculate route. Well, that was easy. Here in the front of the CHR there's plenty of space, even for taller drivers. However, the door pockets are rather small, so they only accommodate a small bottle of water, and it's a similar story for the glove box. Things don't get any better in the rear either, because although it's got the same footprint as a Seat Ateca, space in the rear is much less. Kids and teenagers shouldn't moan too much. However, the windows are high up and pretty small, so it can feel quite dark in here. And if you'd like to sit 3 people side by side, it's a bit more of a squeeze than other cars in this class. Boot space is also a little small when compared against its rivals. It does have a wide opening, but it tapers towards the rear, which makes loading bulkier items slightly challenging, only exacerbated by this high boot lip, which you can't get rid of because there's no adjustable floor. You can, however, fold the rear seats down to create more space, but you are then left with a hefty step. Another irritating feature. The CHR comes from one of the most reliable car brands. However, it's more expensive to buy than many of its rivals, and the entry-level 1.2 petrol is not as fuel efficient as the basic versions of the Ateca, for example. Plus, it won't hold on to its residual values very well either. The hybrid CHR makes much more financial sense. It will cost you less in company car tax than many diesel rivals, and the heady fuel consumption figure of 75 miles per gallon is certainly very appealing. Although in our experience in real-world tests, that's much more likely to be around 50 miles per gallon. Entry-level Icon versions of the CHR are your best bet, and they come with everything you're likely to want, including dual-zone climate control, 17-inch alloy wheels, automatic lights and wipers, and adaptive cruise control. The other 2 trims, named Excel and Dynamic, add extra features but get pretty pricey. The CHR is a mixed bag. While it's decent to drive and generously equipped, the fact it isn't cheaper to buy and offers comparatively less interior space just stops it from troubling those class leaders. For plenty more on the CHR, including our full online review, head to whatcar.com. And never miss another video, hit subscribe. And if you're thinking